A man just because he liked and commented on videos ended up transmigrating into an insectoid interstellar world with few males and many females. In order not to be kept by the female insects with 36-pack abs, he disguised himself as a sub-female and made a living by writing novels. Coincidentally, his cold, aloof military female roommate gave him inspiration. What pure landlord meets tenant. The male insects 18 martial arts. Unpublished, it became a sensation across the insectoid interstellar world, just when he thought he was on the path to soaring success and reaching the peak. Who knew his identity as a male insect will be accidentally exposed? The cold, aloof, military female roommate instantly turned into a gentle, loyal dog. Brother, you smell so good. The gentle heart instantly blackened toward the bamboo brain. Exhausted and worn out, which would you choose? Event's supreme commander of the War Legion was willing to launch an interstellar war just to obtain him. And at this time, Han Ling, who had transmigrated over, was rummaging through the trash for dinner. He had suffered immense this past month, although he had physically transmigrated under the influence of interstellar radiation. His body had begun to insectify, even growing a tailhook that only male insects possess. Fortunately, he was clever and had hidden the tailhook early on, disguising himself as a sub-female. And in order to save up money to buy a light brain, he scavenged for food when hungry, slept under bridges when tired, and during the day had to help soldier worker ants carry cargo. One bag of cargo weighed 500 pounds. Other soldier worker ants carried 5 bags at once. He carried one bag 5 times. He endured a full month of such days, being scolded and looked down upon. Thankfully, today, finally saved up enough money to buy a second hand light brain, casually tossed the empty supplement back into the trash. Han Ling smacked his lips, turned his head, and left without looking back, swaggering away. Entertainment in this interstellar world could be described as a desert. All games and films were leaning towards war. He planned to write something good to open these country bumpkins' eyes. Arriving at a 3-story roadside inn, he rented a small, shabby room without even a bed, found a charging station to plug in light brain, and then began to brainstorm a novel. But after thinking for a while, aside from a headache, he had no ideas at all. Suddenly, a mechanical voice came through. Power sufficient. System starting. System? Han Ling was startled. Could it be that this also came with a system? Hello. I am the keep you safe system. Han Ling's expression was complicated. Why did you only show up now? Only I know how much suffering I've endured this month. The system had not worked. You only just found a place to charge. Before Han Ling could speak, curses immediately came from downstairs. Bug shit. Who's using electricity? The meter's running like crazy. Han Ling sighed. Alright, then tell me, what are you useful for? The system can keep you safe at any time. For example, right now, due to interstellar radiation, you currently have a total of 476 cancerous lesions throughout your body. I have cancer? Han Ling was shocked. Yes, the most severe. Pancreatic cancer cells have already metastasized. Your remaining lifespan is 37 days. Han Ling's mouth twitched. He originally only lacked money and love. And no, he even lacked life. Then what should I do? The Keep You Safe system can help the host restore health, but the system requires energy stones to recharge. Han Ling rubbed his chin. The electricity here is all free. Why don't you eat some more energy stones? It's different from electrical energy. Host, please do not confuse the two. Han Ling opened his light brain and searched for energy stones, then looked utterly speechless. A full 100,000 credit points for one piece. My head hurts right now. I can't think of anything. Is it because I also have cancer in my brain? That's right. There are 3 tumors in your head now. Hearing this, Han Ling suddenly didn't want to live anymore. Just then, the door suddenly opened. Han Ling was squatting on the ground and looked up at the person who entered. Wow, he wanted to whistle. Then Wummer was a female insect, and a military female insect at that, wearing a white, form-fitting combat suit. Extremely handsome. The military female insect glanced at Han Ling and didn't speak. Han Ling took the initiative to speak. This room is occupied. The military female insect's voice was deep and powerful. This is a double room. Han Ling was stunned. Besides the bathroom, this room was less than 20 square meters in total, yet it was actually a double room. The military female insect ignored him and directly pulled down the zipper of the combat suit from behind, revealing a back with elastic muscles, then walked into the bathroom. Han Ling was puzzled. There were no insectoid characteristics, so this should be a high-level female insect. How could a high-level female insect come to a garbage planet? It must be said. This female insect is realistic. Suddenly, inspiration flashed in Han Ling's mind. He knew what to write. He took out his light brain and started writing furiously in the document. Title: Innocent Landlord Meets Tenant. Chapter 1. Military female insect. Lin Muyang's first vacation. Heaven arrived at the remote garbage star. Having heard there was a mysterious inn here that could make female insects feel incomparable happiness. With a nervous heart, he walked into the inn, and indeed saw a male insect with smiling, curved eyes. A male insect. There really is a male insect. Lin Muyang's gaze was completely captivated. The male insect had short black hair, black eyes, and eyebrows that looked beautiful and exquisite. Confused female insect. How many days would you like to stay here? A crisp voice interrupted Lin Myangstar. With just one look, Lin Myang felt his pheromone detector begin to flash red violently, as if about to break. Then the male insect stood up and walked towards him, the tail hook behind him, covered in dense, crystalline escals. Since you're not speaking, I'll sighed then. Remember not to close the door tightly tonight. The suggestive words made Lin Myang somewhat hesitant. That night, the inn echoed with sounds that made insects blush and their hearts race. Here, omits 2,000 words. After finishing the book title and first chapter content, Han Ling rubbed his fingers. Not bad. Not bad. It doesn't look too explicit, should pass review. The pen name is just his StarNet username. Then he clicked upload. Click. The bathroom door opened. The silver-haired military female insect's appearance was still dazzling, with a fit physique, broad shoulders, and a slender waist. Han Ling swallowed his saliva. Having come to the interstellar insect race for too long, his aesthetic standards had also changed. He took the initiative to introduce himself. I am a female called Han Ling. What's your name? Roderick. The military female insect's voice was somewhat hoarse. After saying this, he directly lay down on the ground, closing his eyes. His freshly bathed arms were immediately covered in dust. Han Ling looked on, feeling nothing but pity. Needing to turn off the light? With others around, Han Ling didn't want to expose his tail hook yet, so he only washed his hands and face, turned off the light, and slept in his clothes. The two female insects each leaned against a wall, but in the middle of night, Han Ling dreamed that he was crushed under a mountain, struggling to breathe. What was that? Han Ling opened his eyes, startled. How did that military female insect get to his side? He pulled the soundly sleeping female insect away and asked in his mind, System? What's going on? Host. Your body undergoes transformation. At night, your male insect pheromones leaked out a bit, and she was attracted over in her sleep. It is recommended that the host also purchase a pheromone monitoring ring, which has a certain masking effect. Hearing this, Han Ling frowned. His pockets were emptier than his face right now. Perhaps it was his own pheromones that had taken effect. The military female insect in front of him seemed to be dead asleep. Hanling moved to lie down on the other side, and, likely due to extremexation, quickly fell asleep. Waking up the next morning, the militarifmal insect was no longer in the room. She must have checked it out. Hanling let out a slight yawn. Taking advantage of the empty room, he went to take a shower. After washing, he cleaned the room again. For the next week, he didn't want to live in a pile of dust. After finishing all this, it was already noon. Rubbing his stomach, feeling a bit hungry, he prepared to go scavenge for lunch in the trash bin. The cheapest energy supplement cost 30 credit points. Hanling simply couldn't afford it, and he wasn't worried about social embarrassment either. After all, no one knew him. He walked up to the filthy trash bin and rummaged through it. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. What a find! He saw a packaging bag with the number 5000 written on it. You don't usually come across such rare goods. He picked it up and examined it. Finding there was still a bit of liquid left, without hesitation, he sucked the last drop into his mouth. Not bad, not bad. Premium stuff. Really is different. He felt his mind clear up a bit, throwing away the supplement. Hanling picked up his light brain, somewhat reluctant to check his novel stats. He was afraid his book wasn't popular, that no one was reading it. Then Hesmold, comforting himself in his heart. Anyway, I'll have to face it sooner or later. At worst, I'll just go back to carrying sacks. Host, please don't ignore the effects of radiation. Your cancer will directly erupt in 36 days. Hanling's smile froze on his face. So damn unfair. How is a bug supposed to live like this? Hanling roared inwardly as he opened the light brain. Innocent landlord meets tenant. Click count 376. Collection count 376. Comments 29. Seeing these numbers, he felt slightly disappointed. Among the trillions of interstellar insectoids, only 376 bigs had read his book. Host, does the system need to help you create a novel cover? A good novel cover can better help you attract readers. Hanling was overjoyed. Then let me describe it to you. Moments later, a bear-like insect resembling Hanling lay on a bed, next to a scarred female insect gazing blankly at the sky. The figure of the empty female insect bore some resemblance to Roderick, and the picture had too many explosive points to describe Hanlin's satisfaction. He nodded, then turned and headed home to prepare to read some comments. After swiping the room card to open the door, Hanlin froze in his original spot. How had that military female insect come back? At that moment, the military female insect was squatting in the corner with a face full of worry. Hearing the sound, she lazily looked up. The moment she saw Hanlin, her nerves instantly tensed. A bear insect. Only a bear insect could have such fair skin, such clear eyes, supishable. His fingers twitched slightly, and just as Hugh was about to speak, he heard the bear insect say a sentence. Why have you come back? Roderick lowered his fingers. He remembered this voice. It was that sub-female from last night. He hadn't expected the sub-female who was as dark as a ghost yesterday to be so beautiful after washing up. It was just a pity it wasn't a bear insect. Roderick's Adam's apple bobbed. I'm staying here for a month, and you? Hanlin sensed the pheromones of this silver-haired military female insect before him. It seemed they needed release. The pheromones emanating from him were already so dense. They filled the entire room, the scent like strong liquor, radiating its aroma. Being stared at by a military female insect was too dangerous for Hanlin. His frail body couldn't even match a single hair of theirs. Hanlin lowered his head, fiddling with his light brain, and squatted in the place farthest from Roderick. I'm staying for a week. Roderick narrowed his eyes, his gaze unreadable. Are all sub-females like you? Roderick was from the capital, Neo-Orezia, and was of the insect race. The royal family's eldest prince, the rare bear insect. He had seen a few, but he had never come into contact with a sub-female like Hanlin, who was opening Reader comments, said without looking up. Of course. What's wrong? Roderick stood up, walked to Han Lin's side, crouched down, and sniffed Han Lin's neck. There was no pheromone rejection reaction. He found it a bit strange. In the interstellar insect race, same-sex pheromones are naturally incompatible. Female insects can be friends and brothers with other female insects, but they absolutely cannot form partners. Roderick did not feel any disgusted reaction from the sub-female before him, and his curiosity began to soar. Han Lin's hand holding the light brain trembled, and he quickly pushed away the military female in front of him. Damn bro, your pheromones are choking me. After saying this, Han Lin pretended to dry heave a few times. I'm sorry. Roderick was easily pushed to the ground. He supported himself with his hands behind his back, staring playfully at the sub-female before him. Let me guess, your genetic grade F level? The force used to push him just now felt like a tickle. Han Lin, as if provoked, said angrily, you should go to the special theater in the central city and let the machines collect your excess pheromones. Don't be angry, relax bro, we're all female insects. What are you afraid of? Roderick returned to his corner. He had escaped. Once he entered the city to move around, there was a possibility of being discovered by the royal family. As for why he escaped, it was because the Emperor was forcing him to marry the bear. Insect dating. Using family resources to date bear insects, he's afraid he'll never be able to hold his head high in the interstellar army for the rest of his life, as long as he hides for a month, waits until the enlistment time arrives, and when he returns from the army, he will use his military merits to exchange for a large amount of contribution points to personally choose the bear insect he likes. At this moment, in the small hut, Roderick has been watching the sub-female Han Lin in the room. For some reason, he just can't calm his mind. Whether he lies down or sits, he finds no relief. It seems only by watching Han Lin can he ease up a bit. Although his pheromonic sensation is too high, it's still not to the point of losing his men. Once he enters the army, he will use machines to handle it. But now, he finds himself inexplicably somewhat impatient. Roderick cleared his throat. I say, sub-female Han Lin, how about making a deal? Han Lin's just relaxed nerves immediately tensed up. What deal? Roderick let out a light laugh, his silver head lifting, gesturing with his chin towards the bathroom. Take a shower together, and I'll pay for a month's rent for you. Well, look, his observed Han Lin. This sub-female is not only weak in strength but also very poor. He just saw Han Lin squatting by the trash can picking through garbage, and the energy supplement Han Lin picked up was the one he drank and threw away. Although Roderick just graduated from military academy and has no credit points, he brought quite a few energy supplements with him. By casually taking out a few bottles, he could help Han Lin pay a month's rent. He has never seen a sub-female before. He wants to see if sub-females are just as crazy as him. Han Lin gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with ferocity. Don't come harassing me again, or I'll call the garrison from Trash Star to judge you immediately. Upon hearing this, Roderick knew there was no room for negotiation. He turned around, no longer looking at Han Lin. All right. His curiosity left unsatisfied. Han Lin, inwardly anxious, but putting on a brave front, saw the female insect turn its back to him, and finally breathed a sigh of relief. At that moment, a mechanocalvis sounded in his mind. Please rest assured, host, there's no need to be nervous. The peace system will ensure your safety at all times. Hearing the system's words, Han Lin felt somewhat curious. How will you act to ensure safety? The system will choose the optimal solution to overcome all difficulties for the host and ensure your safety. The optimal solution for dealing with female insect before you is to directly reveal the tail hook. Han Lin's mouth twitched. If I wanted to reveal it, I would have done so long ago. Liangla, are you a bit sick in the head? He discovered that this system wasn't artificial intelligence at all, it was artificial idiocy. Furious and flustered, he cursed the system out, then turned his attention back to the light brain, clicking on the comment section as if facing a mortal enemy. Damn it, stupid real bear. Worms aren't like this at all. Rein in your shameful fantasies. The inspection team has already been summoned. Author, just wait to get arrested. Han Lin saw these comments and his heart skipped a beat. He glanced at Thecament time. It was late last night. If the report was effective, he would have already received a summons from the interstellar cart by now. Since he hadn't received any news, it meant he was still safe. Han Lin breathed a sigh of relief and continued reading. Wow, what is this good stuff? This is the first time I've hidden under the covers to read a book. I want to go kill Lin Mayang. Not taking the initiative at all in front of the bear. Worm, kneeling and begging for the location off this small hotel. Waiting online, very urgent. After reading all the comments, Han Lin breathed a sigh of relief. The first chapter of the novel still had mostly positive reviews, which was a good start. He decided to immediately start updating the next chapter. He quietly glanced up at the military female opposite him, then guiltily lowered his head. In the afternoon, the setting sun's light shone into the small hotel's window. Lin Muyang was covered in wounds. Awakened by the glaring sunlight, with a satisfied smile, he turned his head to look at the small hotelowner. Being able to find this hotel must be a miracle, right? Lin Mayang carefully stood up and silently walked into the bathroom. But what he didn't know was, yes, he had just stepped into the bathroom when the boss, who had been sleeping with his eyes closed, opened them, his eyes carrying a sly smile. With a faint beep, the originally white walls of the bathroom instantly turned transparent. Once the bathroom was filled with bubbles, the small inn owner dropped the control button and walked inside. Here, 2,000 words are omitted. Han Lin, in order to earn credit points, directly started a small train heading to Wu Mountain. Due to Roderick's previous actions, Han Lin deliberately Madeline Mayang, who bore a slight resemblance to Roderick, suffer more in this chapter, all depicting forced love. Han Lin looked up at Roderick, who was sleeping leaning against the corner of the wall, and a cold smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. Never provoke a novelist. The novelist's unique spiritual victory method can sweep away all enemies, while the enemies will remain completillionaire of it. He set the second chapter as paid content, requiring 0.1 credit points to read. Then, he clicked upload. Suddenly, Hanlin felt a headache coming on again. He knocked on his head and couldn't help complaining to the system. Aren't you inside my head? Can't you first help me remove the tumor in my head? It's really affecting my ability to earn credit points. Sorry, system energy is insufficient. If I help the host eliminate the tumor in the head, the system will, in the short term, be unable to perform pre-calculations or help the host make correct choices. Han Lin complained. Then, quickly help me transfer. I don't want you to help me judge. Please host confirm. Confirmed. Very certain that the next second, Han Lin hadn't even had time to speak. His head hurt and heterically fainted. Before fainting, he seemed to feel his head being scorched, even able to smell a burnt odor. Could it be that the damn system was using a laser to remove a tumor? Countless light years away on the planet Freville, at the garrison of the 5th Guard Corps' Lieutenant Bart was hiding under his blanket, nervously watching his light brain. Update faster. Yesterday, he accidentally saw a book with a strange name. Out of curiosity, Bart clicked in to take a look. Dozens of seconds later, his face flushed bright red. Once again, what did he see? This author was actually writing about Lord Bear Insect and moreover, it was about Lord Bear Insect dating a military female, and that damned Lin Maya Lord Bear Insect made him count raindrops, and if he couldn't count them all, he would be punished. Why didn't such a good thing happen to him, Bart? Bart gritted his teeth and finished the book, then gave it a bad review. He left a comment, "I've already called the patrol team." Author, you wait to be caught. However, after leaving the comment, Bart did not report the author because he wanted to know Lord Bear Insect's name, and even more, he wanted to know the coordinates and address of that small inn. He added this book to his own bookshelf. For the entire day, Bart was somewhat absent-minded. Although he had learned a lot of knowledge, the after effects were just too strong. He was so excited all night he couldn't sleep, turning the novel's first chapter over and over countless times, staying awake till dawn. Suddenly, Bart discovered the author had updated. Bart. The moment I saw the novel's cover, my eyes widened in shock. My breathing became rapid. Thesis a real tardigrade, the novel. The cover actually features a real bug, but Bart magnified the light screen to the maximum and, like a pervert, kissed the little fellow in the picture. Bored? He giggling foolishly as if he had really kissed someone. By now, Thesky had already brightened. The Frevel star he was on was an open interstellar mineral vein. These resources would attract interstellar beasts to come and snatch them. As a second lieutenant, Bart commanded a team of 300 people. Ding ling ling, the alarm clock rang. It seemed he could only wait until the noon break to read the novel again. Bart immediately put away his light brain, threw off the covers and leaped up, putting on the black combat uniform belonging to the 5th Guard. His thick, deep brown short hair was combed back, and his pale, gray profundities were as ruthless as a wolf's. Bart was a winged insectoid race, with 2 wide antennae as fine as hair hidden within his hair. After completing his inspection, 23 resource points in, Bart's body was already stained with dark red bloodstains. He held a slender willow leaf steel blade. After retracting his wings, he led the team to land in the wild to rest. Everyone lay on the ground as usual, preparing to catch up on sleep and rest, but Bart alone sneakily took his light brain and hid far behind a tall bush. Some people noticed Bart's odd behavior. What's up with the lieutenant? Don't know. Contacting home again, maybe? Then why hide so far away? Several military females glanced at each other, exchanged meaningful looks, and decided to go together to see what the lieutenant was doing. They tiptoed towards the bush, then suddenly lunged forward. Lieutenant, what are you doing? Bart was immersed in the newly updated chapter and was startled by the voice. He frantically retracted the Lightbrain's display screen, but accidentally pressed the audio playback. Guessed, you're so bad. I like it so much. Bart's eyes widened, and he hurriedly turned off the light. Brain. Damn bugs. What do you want? Bart grabbed 3 team members and knocked them in the head. Bang. Bang. The members, nearly having their heads cracked open, still managed to ask dizzily, Boss, what were you watching? What's so bad? Bart's face flushed brighter. He felt somewhat ashamed, yet also wanted to show off. This book was a treasure discovered by his discerning eye, but he only wanted to read it secretly himself. Bart snorted coldly. You little bugs aren't worthy of knowing. When you can pass the 20-fold gravity chamber, then you'll have the right to ask. All right, get lost. Alafew. He waved them away irritably. He waved his hand. He had only read half of the newly updated chapter. After the person was driven away, he squatted back into the bushes, switched the novel back to the first chapter, intending to start reading from the beginning. Just then, someone poked his back again. Bart turned around irritably and roared, Who are you? Bugs now? Lieutenant, it's Avery. Avery blinked. As the newest recruit in squad, Avery possessed astonishing talent. He had long since passed the 20-fold gravity chamber and was pushed out by histiamates to demand the secret from earlier. Bart's face turned ashen, but he couldn't go back on his word, so he could only pull up the literature column homepage and grumble. Here, take a look. Avery looked at the light brain, and in an instant, his face flushed bright red. He stammered, "LL Lieutenant. This. Avrices burned with fervor. He had never had a date with Lord Bear Insect before, and now he was seeing Bear Insect himself directly on the cover, and even in such an embarrassing pose. Bart's expression was displeased, looking as if Bear Insect had gone behind his back and cheated on him. "You've seen it. Now hurry back and rest." When Avera returned to the open area where his teammates were resting, the surrounding teammates curiously pushed and shoved him, asking questions. Soon, everyone gathered around was shocked. Piercing screams woke up all the sleeping people nearby. Avery frowned and retracted his light brain. "You've all seen it now, right?" After seeing it get lost quickly, he was now equally impatient in his heart. He wished he could drive everyone away. Moments later, Avery lay alone on the grass, staring at that picture for quite a while. He finally noticed that the picture was just a novel cover. "AI foo. I was a bit curious. What could be written inside such a cover?" He clicked on the image and quickly got drawn into the story. It turned out that little saying the name means this. So this is how the bear bug dates the female bug. Avery's little face flushed red. His heart has flown to an unknown planet in front of a small hotel halfway up a mountain, peeking through the glass window at everything inside the hotel. After finishing the second chapter, Avery was left wanting more. In a place with no one around, Avery kissed the cover. That night, Bart Squad returned to the base, and everyone returned to their rooms early. This night, everyone in Bart Squad read the novel over and over countless times, their little face flushed red. Meanwhile, on the garbage planet, inside a small hotel, Han Ling, in his sleep, once again felt a mountain-like weight pressing down. He opened his eyes. Sure enough, that military rifleman Roderick actually ran to his side again and was sleeping exceptionally soundly. Han Ling want to teach a lesson, yet daren't it. At this moment, the system said, "Both the host and Roderick are in the pheromone outbreak period. Aren't you two living together?" The system saw clearly that the two of them moved closer to each other in their sleep. Han Ling nodded. "Wait a week, then I'll leave." He only rented the house for 7 days. When the time comes, return to the original state. The sky as a blanket, the earth as a bed. The system spoke up to remind, being exposed and fueled at night, with drinking water not up to standard, will accelerate the spread of cancer cells. The system's reminder made Han Ling roll his eyes uncontrollably. "Do I have money?" Originally, he was the type to accept things as they come, spend when there's money, earn when there's none. But since the system appeared, every day is like urging like a life or death matter, telling Han Ling how short of money he is. Now he's really getting a bit anxious. Han Ling opens the optical brain. Check his earnings. Read count 3,498. Subscription count 3,498. Seeing this number, Han Ling took a sharp breath. A book that only 300 people had read yesterday. How could it spread so fast? He didn't quite understand, but if he couldn't figure it out, he wouldn't dwell on it. He happily clicked withdraw, withdrawing about 280 credit points. He was somewhat excited, although it still didn't reach the Zerg's average daily income. He was still very satisfied, fantasizing that when he had money, he'd buy 2 bottles of energy supplements, drink 1 and throw 1 away, buy 2 interstellar flying cars, drive 1 and blow 1 up. With this beautiful dream, Han Ling fell back asleep. The next morning, Han Ling opened his eyes. Startled, a pair of blue eyes stared intently at him. T-esque. Roderick curled the corner of his mouth, smiling, with an ambiguous meaning. "Brother, I want to ask you a question." Han Ling pushed him away, cleared his throat, and said, "Ask." Roderick stood up, looking down from above, as he asked, "Why have you come running to sleep in my corner for 2 nights in a row?" These past 2 days, every time Roderick woke up, he could See the weak male submissive Hanling nestled beside him. Hearing this, Hanling felt a head a-shekeming on, the veins on his forehead, throbbing as if he were about to explode from anger. Slander, this is pure slander. Every time it was Roderick who squeezed him into the corner, but he couldn't say that. How could twa male submissives possibly sleep nestled together? Moreover, among male submissives, the right to speak is determined by combat power. Looking up at the tall, strong, and robust military male submissive before him, Han Ling swallowed hard. He didn't dare to curse, and he couldn't win a fight either. A true man knows when to bend and when to stand firm. Han Ling played dumb, scratching his head as he said, I don't know. I'm not sure either. Maybe the nights are a bit cold. Roderick frowned, seemingly believing this explanation. Han Ling secretly laughed, sighed. Seeing Roderick falsolent, Han Ling went to the bathroom to freshen up, then prepared to go out to find some breakfast. Just then, voice came from behind. Hey, pauper, don't go out scavenging for trash. I have extra nutritional supplements. Sure. Han Ling turned to look and saw Roderick lounging leisurely in the corner, holding 2 bags of nutritional supplements, one dangling from his mouth. The bag in his hand, the packaging of this nutritional supplement, was exactly the one he picked up yesterday. Han Ling's heart tightened. Under heaven, there is no free lunch. I don't want a new one. Just leave a little of Theon you're drinking for me. The system spoke up, saying, Host, Roderick's pheromones have affected you too much. In the past month, you picked up garbage. Always drinks by tilting his head back, never touching the packaging, but yesterday you bit right where Roderick drank. Han Ling's heart skipped a beat upon hearing this. Really? If not for the system reminder, he hadn't even noticed. Damn, how'd I bend so easily? Although Roderick ahead found it strange, he still threw the leftover nutritional supplement over. Han Ling caught the nutritional supplement and silently drank it down. Ew, you're so gross. Can't you drink by tilting your head back? Roderick's disgusted voice came through. Han Ling lifted his eyelids, about to say something but swallowed his words, accidentally forgetting again. Roderick touched his nose. He seemed to realize his words had some people hurt others, but don't want to lower their heads to apologize, so they coughed a couple of times, waiting for me to join the first exploration course. The remaining nutrition supplements are all given to you. No need to finish breakfast. Han Ling took out her light computer and started a new day of typing. As for what to write on the third day, Han Ling glanced up at Roderick, inspiration bursting forth, thoughts flowing like a spring. Night fell. Inside the small hotel, Lin Miang slowly woke up. He felt a chill on his body, slightly opened his eyes, and found that it was Lord Bear Wormhairing the sound. The black-haired, black-eyed boss smiled and raised her head. You're awake? I still don't know your name. Lin Miang found this absurd upon hearing it. The two still didn't even know each other's names. Lin Miang, good name. You can call me Liao Sha. Liao Sha's peach blossom eyes held a smile. This time it's your turn. 2,000 words omitted here. Lin Muyang's mind was foggy. He said softly, Liao Sha, I have to go. My holiday is only 4 days. Lin Miang had caused Liao Sha great trouble, but he still had a mission. As a military female insect, he had the duties and missions of a military female insect. Lin Miang felt he couldn't with Liao Sha forever, especially since Liao Sha's hodl needed to keep running. He loved Liao Sha, but he didn't dare, nor could he, possess her alone. Perhaps the next time they met, Liao Sha would have long forgotten him. To Liao Sha, he was just a dispensable passerby. A female insect is destined never to possess the complete favor of a bearworm. The sorrow of love envelops them, and Lin Miang no longer evades the ellipsis. The ellipsis finishes the 3rd chapter. Han Ling lives. He moved his wrist, taking advantage of the release of chapter 3. He clicked on the comment section to see Thena Taizen's comments in the paragraph reviews. Over 40 readers had anonymously sent photos, showing off their robust physics. One of the comments was clamoring at me, "Mord bear insect look at me. Definitely better than Lin Mayang." Han Ling raised his head, swept a glance at Roderick sleeping on the floor, and then delivered Thother's evaluation. "Your physiques can't comparito Lin Muyang's, because Lin Muyang's character physique is modeled after Roderick." Han Ling had been transported to the interstellar insect tribe for a month, had seen many female insects, but up in seeing these people, Han Ling was still that never bowing down, a stray quit from Blue Star, but ever since meeting Roderick, within just 3 short days, Han Ling felt his inner resolve gradually wavering. By the time the lease expires and it's time to leave, it might just be the end of the book. Taking advantage of Roderick being asleep, Han Ling gazed recklessly at this stunning female insectist. "Please note, your pheromone concentration is too high. Please mind your mood." Han Ling complained. "Don't you have any other way to help me cover it up? System energy insufficient, and the system is a keep you safe system. When the host's life is not under threat, the system has no function whatsoever." Hearing this, Han Ling laughed in anger. Even calling something useless said with such righteous confidence. He stopped engaging with the system and append his light brain to search for information online. As expected, the entertainment of interstellar insect race is particularly scarce. Whether it's music, movies, literary works, or daily games, everything is related to war, related to resources. It seems insects are born to love fighting. Han Ling rubbed his hands together, eager to give it a try. Let him bring some small shocks to the little bugs of the interstellar world. Capital Star, Kaiming Universitormitory, tech geek Parson was writing a game program when he suddenly heard an unfamiliar message from his Star Network account. Parson paused slightly. His deep blue hair is Parson's trademark. In the Star Network gaming circle, he is known as the Azornite. Opening the chat window, Parson saw a message from an unfamiliar insect. "I watched your game-making videos and really admire you. Let's be friends." When Yuba Parson saw this sentence, he frowned. Was this bug also here to laugh at him? On the Starnet, he wasn't famous, but within the gaming circle, most bugs knew that his Azure Knight was a joke-like existence. Because of his rare disease, simulation sickness. Once he played 3D games, he would pass out. Because of this illness, he became a joke in the gaming circle, and also because of this illness, he could only work on 2D old-fashioned games. No matter the competition, there would always be a bottom feeder king. Under the successive blows, Parson had the thought of giving up game development and switching to military school. He sighed, added the other party as a friend, and then directly replied, "If you truly appreciate me, then I have some unfortunate news to tell you. I don't plan to continue making games anymore. If you're just here to laugh at me, start laughing now." "Ah, you're not making games anymore? I actually want to invite you to collaborate, to develop a game together." Parson replied, "Don't lead me." "Why me?" Han Lin replied. "I've looked for most game producers on the Starnet, and only you meet me requirements. I want to do 2D game development." Parson frowned. 2D games are 2,000-year-old antique games. No one is willing to play them anymore. Han Lin replied, "Not necessarily. The rare exceptions to everything. I have a project. Do you want to join?" Parson replied, "I am still a student. I have nominee. Are you here to scam me?" "Heh. If you don't want to cooperate, forget it. Then please develop one 2D game. How much do you need?" "A 10 GB game, 100,000 credit points to close the deal. The game I want to make is roughly only 10 GB in size. I'll give you credit points first, as a deposit." Parson looked at the 1,000 transfers sent by the other party. Confirming they weren't a scammer, he clenched his Fist. Then let this gameeb his final masterpiece, no? More regrets left in youth. For a small 2D game like this, Parson could probably make one in about a week. Then the other party sent a bunch of compressed files. Parson looked back at the chat window. Han Lin replied, character images and content from work will be sent before tomorrow. By the way, the game is called Charge Ahead, Top Tier Bear Worm, Your Excellency. Parson saw the 4 words, Bear, Worm, Your Excellency, and his eyelids twitched uncontrollably. Can I ask, what is the main storyline of the game? The main quest is for the player to control a character and romance 5 bear worms. Parson saw this sentence and suddenly choked on his own saliva, coughing incessantly. He suddenly felt curious about this person. What kind of person could come up with such a perverted story? He clicked into Han Lin's space homepage and found it was a new account with only one work in the literature column. Parson curiously clicked in, his eyes gradually deepening. He had opened the door to a new world. On the other side, on the garbage planet, Han Lin was writing furiously on his light brain, drafting the game plan and personality analyses for the 5 male leads. The system was also busy drawing character illustrations, single ones, paired ones, group ones. While writing, Han Lin didn't forget to remind in his mind, ding, hey, hurry up and draw. The draft needs to be submitted before today. First draw 3 cards and 4 SR cards for each person. 2. The CSR card text-based romance game is something Han Lin is very familiar with. On the blue planet of the 21st century, many companies would create a romance game, such as Warm Love Words, where you dress up beloved characters, help them change outfits, and then there are always some rare versions that require piling up money to collect, which is a significant expense. More importantly, people are willing to pay for the storyline. Han Lin wrote an extensive 8-hour game proposal. The content is as follows. On February 9, 2390 of the new calendar, a massive explosion occurred on the capital star. The protagonist, Junsi Moffat, resolutely went alone to the explosion site to rescue people. However, after entering the explosion site, Junsi Moffat found himself caught in a bizarre time loop. In order to find the beginning and end of the time loop, he encounters 5 top-tier B. Lord Worm, the domineering and unreasonable Jingming, the coquettish and cute-selling Mucken, the melancholy and pitiable Shuyu, the aloof, iceberg yet easily blushing Huan, the gentle and all-embracing Tuming. When 5 top-tier bearworm lords simultaneously propose to Mo fight, what choice will he make? After setting the story background, Han Lin stretched his somewhat sore and swollen wrist. Being pursued by 5 bearworm lords with distinct personalities would surely drive these interstellar spirits crazy. System, draw. Another top-tier Sir card, one with Junsi, lying together with 5 male leads. I'll describe the pose for you. Under the guidance of veteran driver Han Lin, the system quickly produced an image of 6 people bathing together. Han Lin was very satisfied. After finishing everything, he packaged it all and sent it to Parson. Meanwhile, in the dormitory building at Kaiming University, after reviewing the files, Parson's heart was churning with towering waves. Sashiked he was speechless. If these bear worm lords were all pursuing him, what would he choose? Parson couldn't make a choice. He greedily wanted them all. He swallowed hard. Just moments ago, after watching Innocent Landlord Meets Tenant, he immediately fell in love with the small inn owner. But the next second, he was captivated by 5 bear worm lords with different personalities. After snapping out outfit, he quickly replied to the other party. You said before you wanted to cooperate with me, does that still stand? Can I take it back? I didn't want to refuse anymore. No one can refuse this game. This game will definitely be a hit. The other party replied, there's no such thing as a regret pill in this world, but If you are sincere, I can consider making you my employee. Do you need this job? Parson G. Move, need. I really need thee, boss, Han Lin replied. If you join the company, then the cost of making the game. If you use me, I won't give it to you. However, since you are a founding member of the company, and give youth company's original shares, what do you think? Parsons is not a short-sighted person, and replied, without hesitation, boss, is our company still short of people? I know many people related to the gaming industry. Han Lin smiled slightly. This Azure Knight is quite on the ball. There is a need, but currently our game is still in the confidential stage. You finish making the game first. Other matters can be discussed later. Boss, give me 5 days. In 5 days, I will definitely have the game completed. After closing the chat soft, where Azure Knight Parsons was full of fighting spirit, he had found a new direction to strive for. Just then, the dorm room door opened up. 3 female insectrumities returned to the dorm from their internship unit. Yo, Parsons is still no need, you keep trying hard, but still can't land an internship at a big company. You, kid, studying hard alone in the dorm, huh? Seeing you work so hard, I feel guilty slacking off at the company. Hearing the 3 roommates' sarcastic remarks, Parsons was already used to it. In the past, he could only endure silently, but now he wouldn't tolerate it anymore. Parsons smiled and said, thank you for your concern. I've already joined a gaming company. The boss really appreciates me, and I've already started following up on game projects. The 3 roommates exchanged glances, all in disbelief. Even lies have their limits. It's possible the company was blind to hire you, but which boss would appreciate you? Huh, that's hilarious. A newly hired newbie. How could they possibly follow up on game projects? Parsons shrugged indifferently. Anthan said, naturally, you guys don't have that capability. He had been coding games alone for many years. Apart from the shortcoming of having simulation sickness, in other aspects, he could be called the strongest rookie king. Hearing Parsons' words, the several roommates all glared at him angrily. Parsons, I'll just wait to see you make a fool of yourself. A liar tells so many lies, they even start believing them themselves. Parsons turned around and no longer paid attention to these 3 roommates. The proof is in the pudding. His merciful father is a lieutenant general off the 1st Exploration Corps, which is a very high position. He had followed his father into countless wars against interstellar alien beasts, accumulating a vast amount of contribution points. Only then did I gain countless portion to date with Lord Bearworm, and then luckily gave birth to twins, Parson and the younger brother. Because Pat was born from a normal union, both brothers have relatively high talents, world-class top-tier female insects. Parsons could pilot a mecha for combat at the age of 12, but he truly loves games. So much so that he ran away from home at 12, working to earn money while studying game design at school until last month, when he considered changing his major. He went to inquire about the military academy's enrollment conditions, and that's when his kind father caught him. His kind father wanted him to join the 1st Exploration Corps where he was stationed, but Parsons now wants to continue making games, and definitely won't go to the military academy. He wants to wait a bit longer, until after the game is released, until he achieves famine success, before explaining things clearly to his kind father. At this moment, it's 11 p.m. on the garbage planet. Han Ling finished modifying some game settings, rubbed his sore neck, and then glanced at Luo at the opposite corner of the wall. Derek had been sleeping all day, from morning till night. Han Ling curiously asked, the system, are female insects this sleepy when they enter their pheromone outbreak period? The system explained, once a female insect enters the pheromone outbreak period, they become drowsy to prepare for pregnancy. It is very dangerous for the host to be sharing a room with Roderick now. The system suggested the host move out of the hotel in 2 days. Han Ling gritted his teeth, his motions unclear. I paid for 7 days. Only staying 2 would be too much of a loss, wouldn't it? Hearing Han Ling's words, the system quickly analyzed. As an AI, it thought of countless possibilities for their future development, then replied, "This is the first time I've encountered a Malensect host as shameless as you. Host, you've already fallen for Roderick, so you don't want to leave, right? But it suggests it's best if the host state, and you two don't know each other well enough yet. According to the calculated data, there's an 89% probability that the host's actions will lead to you two insects becoming like strangers from now on." Han Ling wasn't angry at having his little thoughts exposed, and said leisurely, "All right, since you've figured it out, we'll retreat in 2 days. But before that, can you help me get Roderic's brain ID?" "Yes, but what do you want Roderic's light brain ID for?" Han Ling smiled. "Online dating. You're just a system, so you wouldn't understand. There are too many questions, after all. You definitely haven't tasted the flavor of online romance." A slight yawn, Han Ling on the ground to continue sleeping. When night falls on the garbage star, the sky on the other planets begins to brighten slightly. At this moment, on the StarNet literature column's new book chart, a book begins to climb slowly, gradually entering the public view. This book Becca Mepler, all because of the 8 Great Legion's annual debriefing report meeting. Stardate 2394. November 3 Ard. At the 8 Great Legion's encrypted communication conference site, the manager Offreyville Star's 5th Guard Legion, Major General Colin, was delivering a speech. Throughout last year, the number of Zergs stationed on Freyvillister was 23,000. The number of soldier deaths was 2,300. Wounded soldiers 17,000, and the number of interstellar alien beasts slain was over 500,000. Among them, the team led by 2nd Lieutenant Bart had 0 casualties for the entire year, receiving special commendation. Now, let's invite Seasoned Lieutenant Bart to speak. The annual debriefing report meeting the conference where veterans get promoted. At this moment, at Freyville Star Outpost, in a simple and plain single room, Bart, with deep brown hair and gray eyes, is sitting upright at the table, muttering his upcoming speech draft. He feels a bit of regret inside. A few days ago, while looking for materials, he was so engrossed in reading a novel that he didn't even memorize his speech draft. These past few days, this novel has completely captured him. Even every night he dreams of arriving at the small inn's entrance, pressing against the glass door to peek inside, desperately wanting to enter. Bart envies the characters in the book to death. The protagonist of the noodle shop, Lin Myung, had already become his #1 rival in life. Muttering the speech draft for a moment, Bart's heart itched a little. He really wanted to check if the novel had been updated now. He simply couldn't memorize this draft anymore. He just improvised later. Listening to Major Colin's lengthy speech, Bart found it boring. He directly switched pages and pulled up the novel. He wanted to reread it to memorize the entire novel, so he would keep thinking about it. And so, an awkward scene unfolded. When the assistant at the 5th Guard Corps' debriefing report venue switched the camera feed to Bart's light brain, all the Malinsects in the meeting erupted in an uproar. On the light brain screen, Bart was facing the light brain's camera, making shameful movements, while also mumbling and groaning. Lord Liao Sha, why do you? The following words were simply too indecent to hear. The next second, within the meeting of 90,000 people, 270,000 group chats were instantly established. People exchanged information, feasting on the gossip wildly. Within a temporary 30-person group chat, they were furiously, "What on earth is the 5th Corps of Freville Star doing? My goodness, what on earth is Lieutenant Bart saying? What is he doing with his hands? Insect droppings. Is this Bart an idiot? This is so embarrassing." The embarrassment has spread to the entire cores. The fifth cores of Freville Star is done for now, so a quarty could dig a hole with my toes. Dig out a bulletproof fortress. How would have thought Bart was such a secretly kinky person in private? So queer. Bart actually went public. However, facing the esteemed male insect lord and fantasizing about him is unbearable to watch. Truly unbearable to watch. Could it be that no one privately messaged Bart? Upon hearing this, the military females of Freville Star instantly realized and frantically started privately messaging Bart. Meanwhile, Bart, who was immersed in his novel, suddenly saw countless pop-up windows dinging incessantly. He hurriedly opened them to see. Give it up. Bart, the outside is full of military females. Bart suddenly realized something. His face instantly flushed crimson. He anxiously switched back to the meeting page, only to see his own camera feed displayed on the largest screen. In that moment, Bart had even figured out where he wanted to be buried after he died. The one presiding over the meeting, Major General Colin, was seeing red. If Bart were by his side, he swore he would twist Bart's head off and then kick it like a ball. Gnashing his teeth, he repeated his previous words, "Lieutenant Bart, please explain why the squad under your leadership managed to achieve 0 casualties for the entire year." Bart now sat ramrod straight, his little brain working furiously. He hadn't memorized the speech for this meeting, so how was he supposed to talk nonsense? What could he do to redeem himself from his earlier behavior? Just then, a sudden flash of inspiration struck, and a brilliant idea instantly formed. Bart cleared his throat twice. "Greetings, all lieutenants, captains, officers, and marshal. I am Lieutenant Bart. Over the past year, Bart's squad has participated in 674 battles, eliminating over 3,400 star beasts. And all these achievements are inseparable from one person. This persona's not me, although I possess first-class talent, but after all, am just a female insect, unable to provide mental soothing for mediamates who are also military females. The person is an author named Zixi on the Starnet, and the novel she creates can bring a calming effect to the squad's military rifles during mental disturbances. One of my team members, Evelyn, often tends to go berserk during regular training, but after reading this novel, her mental state has noticeably improved, and she becomes incredibly fierce when killing interstellar beasts. I hope my suggestion receives sufficientation from His Excellency. The Marshal report concluded. After Bart finished speaking, his heart pounded. "Sorry, Evelyn, you must bless me. Lord Zixi, I've promoted you so much. You must bless me. Your Excellency Shah, please bless me too. I am willing to offer everything. I have to wait for you at that small inn." At this moment, due to Bart's bold statement, the entire venue fell silent for a few seconds. Then, Major Colin switched back to the camera. He glared with dead fish eyes, his expression filled with, "I don't want to live anymore." That insect shit. Bart actually dared to publicly address the Marshal. Major Colin's expression stiffened as he tried to conjure the subject. "On our planet, Freville, aside from Lieutenant Bart's squad, which suffered no soldier losses, there are actually several other squads that performed exceptionally well. Next, please let Lieutenant Bill speak." The lieutenant named Bill instantly appeared on screen, his face full of a gleeful, shit-eating grin. "I can't hold it in anymore, folks. Hahaha, I'm cringing so hard I could dig my toes into the ground. That idiot Bart actually did that at the meeting. Hello everyone, I am Bill Clay." Bill was just chatting animatedly in Themelon eating group chat, and then now, the entire group is exposed in the screen. At this moment, Major General Cologne wishes he could eat fry these foolish subordinates of his. His legendary reputation is completely ruined. Today, in the dorm room, Bart, who just got off camera, breathed a sigh of relief. "Good brother Bill, thank goodness for you." Most people after hearing Bart's words, became somewhat curious. What kind of book could actually make Bart instantly turn into a pervert on Thespit, and even claim it has some soothing mental effects? It sounds utterly ridiculous. So, the curious female soldiers started slacking off during the meeting, secretly searching on the Starnet. Those short few thousand words made all thief male insects blush with their hearts racing, and they all expressed their affection for the small hotel owner. In the comment section, the female soldiers who had never experienced the throes of romance were all captivated by the protagonist Liao Sha in the novel. The male insect Liao Sha possessed an initiative and passion they had never seen before. Heaven knows these female insects are going crazy with desire, eagerly wanting to do some lovemaking things with the male insect Liao Sha. Under such fantasies, the pheromones of the female soldiers become abnormally active, and the pheromone monitoring rings of many female soldiers lit up with a red light. From the beginning, I actually lit up. Today, I must take Lord Liao Sha with me to the special theater. As the meeting was nearing its end, the female soldiers whose lights were on were restless. They didn't want to stay in this meeting for a second longer. But just then, a female soldier proactively stood up. Marshal, I have one thing I would like to clarify. The handsome yet melancholic face of General Ulysino appeared on the large screen. Yuli is an S-class senior military female, one of the 4 great generals of the 5th Guard Corps. As an S-class senior military female, Yuli has participated in countless battles. Her illustrious military achievements allowed her to be promoted to general in just 50 short years. Simultaneously, the high contribution points exchanged also enabled her to possess her own male insect. Why do female insects strive so hard? Why do female insects fight so desperately? It is precisely like General Yuli have a male insect lord of their very own. General Yuli has always been a role model for most military females. Instantly, everyone stopped their actions, respectfully looking towards the camera. Yuli, what is the matter? The marshal asked curiously. Yuli looked directly into the camera. Her robust figure wrapped within a shirt, but occasionally one could still see a red mark peeking out from inside the shirt. A small portion of the military females began discussing in the group. Damn it. I'm so envious. General Yuli's male insect must be as good as Lord Liao Sha. This insect's heart is bitter. I really want a male insect to fall in love with me too. Look quickly. I saw the love mark on General Yuli, but the next second a statement from Ulysses left all the military females frozen in place. Marshal, I just read the book recommended by Lieutenant Bart. Its content involves the privacy of the male insect lords. I believe this book is not suitable for circulation on market. It damages the reputation of the male insect lords. We are notify the 3 main leaders to dispose of the novel and its author. Ulysses's words were like a massive rock crashing into the sea, instantly stirring up 1,000 waves. The military females who had just been looking at him with respect were all stunned in an instant. What, brother, you're eating your own meal? And Arentavan willing to leave a sip of soup for everyone else? You have your own malinsect, but the brothers are still single. Smashing the pot right after eating is just too ridiculous, right? Many military females, filled with righteous indignation, wanted to stop Ulysses from continuing, but their military ranks were insufficient. The interstellar military is divided into 6 levels, and a general is an officer second only to the marshal. Currently, the 5th Guard Corps only has 4 generals. If the other 3 generals don't speak up, no one can stop Ulysses's proposal. The atmosphere in the conference room gradually grew tense. Some people were already begging desperately in group chats. Major, my dear Major, please talk to the general and ask him to put in a word. I'm just a small major. I can only speak with Colonel. That's terrible. I've only read it once. Meanwhile, in another group chat, the Young Major repeated the words exactly as before. Colonel, good Colonel, can you talk to the General? He's also only read items, and he even plans to read it again before sleeping tonight. Then the Colonel relayed the words exactly to the General. General, my dear General. Thus, several dozen heart-stopping seconds passed. And then one general suddenly spoke, Ulysses, this matter is unrelated to our debriefing meeting, and moreover, the Star. The Web's literary column is not under the jurisdiction of our 5th Guard Corps. Additionally, believeth inspection mainframe Pietro is. People will not let go of any criminals who slander His Excellency the male insect. The confrontation between the two generals made the atmosphere on the scene even more tense. Yuli's lowered pink eyes lifted slightly as he said without courtesy, protecting every His Excellency, the male insect is what every female insect should do. The author of this book has never been in contact with His Excellency the male insect, so his work can only be written based on imagination. This is a slander against His Excellency the male insect. Yuli's attitude did not yield at all. The general confronting him rubbed his nose. Faced with Yuli's words, he had nothing to say, because he had never read that book, and these words were only told to him by his deputy. The general lowered his gaze, secretly glanced at Hi's optical brain, then looked up and said, How can you be so sure that the person who wrote this book has never seen His Excellency the male insect? Your statement is far too arbitrary, Yuli. Raising a hand adorned with R-ing, am already married. The time I have spent with His Excellency, female insect is likely more than anyone present here. I clearly know what His Excellency the male insect is like. At the very least, His Excellency is absolutely not as that little book describes. Hearing this, the general immediately became agitated. Who is this looking down on? Who isn't capable of applying to marry His Excellency the male insect? It's just that he hasn't had the time, he retorted sharply. It's a case of a dog catching mice meddling in others' business. The personalities of all His Excellency the male insects are different, so how can you possibly understand the personalities of all His Excellencies? Yuli was about to say something more, but the old marshal cut twice. All right, the meeting ends here. Let's not discuss irrelevant matters. As the meeting adjourned, every inebriated a sigh of relief. Inside the dormitory at the Fravelksen outpost, Bart patted his own cheek. He had been holding his breath the whole time, and nearly cried. If because of a single sentence from him this book were to disappear, he would be a sinner, having personally destroyed His Excellency Liao Sha. As the nerve-wracking meeting adjourned, the words of Ulysses put all the military rifles on high alert. They feared the book might really be reported, and hurriedly spread the word, passing the book around on the garbage planet. At this moment, Han Ling, who had slept through the night, opened his eyes. He shuddered all over, his eyes widening. What an explosive scene! He swallowed hard. Roderick had just finished bathing, just stepped out of the bathroom, silver hair combed back, revealing handsome eyebrows, Andy's delicate skin, broad shoulders, slim waist. Han Ling stared for a long time without saying a word, seeming to notice Han Ling's gaze. Roderick looked unhappy. He frowned, grabbed the towel around his waist, and threw it at Han Ling. Here, Ust used your towel once. Do you have to look at me with that kind of expression? Like you're about to eat a bug? A bota fulma sundist. Han Ling gave a slight smile. The towel covered his face. Han Ling, like a pervert, deeply sniffed Thedawell. He felt that if he continued living with Roderick, he would really become a pervert. The sound of rustling clothes was in his ears. Han Ling didn't dare lift Thedawell to look. After a while, Roderick changed his clothes, walked to Han Ling's side, and personally lifted the towel. He looked down at dazed Han Ling. What's wrong with you, pauper? Starving stupid? Han Ling stiffly Nodded. Roderick took out a bag of energy supplement from his backpack, drank half, and handed it to Han Ling. Eat. Recently, Roderick entered his pheromone outbreak period. He was constantly in an uncomfortable state, feeling dizzy and sluggish all day. He looked at his daysdrumit and asked doubtfully, "Is my condition affecting you? Do sub-males also have outbreak periods?" Han Ling's throat was hoarse, as if he had eaten 10 pounds of chili peppers. A bit affected, but it's okay. My outbreak period happens to be around these days too. Roderick chuckled lightly. As long as it doesn't affect you, need to keep sleeping. Rick lay back down in the corner again, while Han Ling's motions took a long time to settle. Host, please move out of the hotel as soon as possible after today. The pheromone threshold between you and Roderick has reached a critical point. You didn't have such significant emotional fluctuations before. Han Ling turned a deaf ear, whispering, "Let me check today's data first." When he opened his light brain, he was instantly stunned. Tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s just. How many subscriptions were there? His heart pounded with excitement. His book had inexplicably gone viral, with a total of 120,000 subscriptions. For each subscription, he could earn 0.1 credit points. In just yesterday alone, he earned 12,000 credit points. Han Ling instantly felt as if he had been injected with adrenaline. As long as he could maintain this subscription count, he would soon be able to cure all the diseases in his body. He flexed his wrist, preparing to continue updating chapter 4. But right at that moment, a friend request suddenly popped up. "Hello, I am an editor from Floro Publishing House. Would it be convenient to add you as a friend to chat?" Han Ling frowned. How did this person bypass the blocking system to send a message directly to him? In the past couple of days, too many female insects had privately messaged him asking for Thesmal Hotel's location. He had clearly blocked all private messages long ago. Han Ling couldn't help but ask the system. In his mind, "I am the keep you safe system, not a programming system." Regarding Star Network Securitious, the system is completely clueless. Han Ling rolled his eyes, thought for a moment, and then added the other party as a friend. Before the other side could speak, Han Ling took the initiative to ask, "How did you privately message him by bypassing the Star Network security system?" "Talking about me? Don't be nervous, I'm here to discuss cooperation. As for how I managed to privately message A, there are too many ways to explain. Since you wouldn't understand anyway, then we have nothing to talk about." Haha, you're quite the character. All I can tell you is, the Interstellar 3 mainframes are products from 1,000 years ago, and technological development advances rapidly. For any tech company, penetrating this mainframe barrier is not a problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hearing this news, Han Ling clenched his fist. What? The Star's work, is this unreliable? How can such a network protect his safety? Can his bare insect identity really be kept safe? He really doesn't want to be captured and used as a breeding insect. Han Ling anxiously asked the system. System, size. Tem, can you protect my IP address now? Can you hide my IP address? Upon hearing this, the system was stunned. A few seconds later, it seemed a bit angry. This system is the keep you safe system and cannot help the host hide the address. Han Ling covered his face with both hands, somewhat unable to believe that this system was really so useless. He pressed his forehead. Then Han Ling looked back at Light Brain. "What do you need from me?" "It's like this. Our editor-in-chief read your novel and thinks you have great potential, so we'd like to sign a contract with you." Han Ling was somewhat puzzled. His book had already started charging fees, so why would he need a publishize? What kind of nonsense is this? It's like he had already finished his meal, and someone handed him a pair of chopsticks, telling him to add more dishes. Signing now would just mean another person coming to shari his money. He directly replied, That's completely unnecessary. My book has already started charging. And the returns are quite good. Don't be in a hurry. Your book involves Lord Bear Worm, so 3 a risk of being banned. But if you cooperate with us, we can guarantee this. Book's safety. Hearing this, Han Ling let out a disdainful scoff. His book had been reported at least thousands of times. But it was still standing, proving it was legal. No need. If it really violates the rules, I'll accept it. Really? You are the first sub-female Torfuse our Falua literature. Society. Sub-female residing at Happy Inn. C1672 Garbage Star. Han Ling, not only is your book questionable, but your personal identity is completely new. Perhaps you don't know, the Garbage Star is not the bottom. The prison stairus. Seeing his name appear on the light brain, Han Ling broke a cold sweat on his forehead. Cold sweat. His identity has been discovered just like that. His personal information has been exposed just like that. And moreover, it was by a pro. The publishing house was exposed. This speed is really too fast. Caught him off guard. He hasn't even figured out how to deal with it yet. When he saw the new message from the other side. Leave the operation off this book to us. If you agree, I will send you the contract. Seeing the other party's reply, Han Ling chuckled lightly. The more critical the moment, the calmer he becomes. He is new here. His parents and relatives are not around. Even if it's a threat, what could he possibly use to threaten? Personal safety? The other suddenly found out he is an Asian female. They have no idea he is a bear insect. And as a bear insect, the worst possible outcome is nothing more than losing freedom and then being kept by countless female insects. What is there to fear about that? Freedom, though precious, is worthless in the face of life, especially since he also has the system to protect your safety. Although the system is very useless, but it should have some use, right? After careful consideration, Han Ling directly blocked the other party and enabled Do Not Disturb mode has been activated, then continue updating the next chapter of the novel. Chapter 4, Parting is imminent. Lin Muyang's eyes still hold traces of with pink tear stains. He stood up on shaky legs, putting on the uniform from the first exploration course, feeling it. Under the aggressive gaze Fromebind, Lin Myang fastened the wrong button several times. He couldn't help but break the silence. Liao Sha. Your Excellency, will you remember him? Will you remember a military female who came to this smalin in the wind and rain? The words, once spoken, Lin Myang felt some regret. Regardless of whether your Excellency Liao Sha remembers or not, this journey will accompany him for the rest of his life. Lin Myang thought wouldn't get a response, but unexpectedly, a pair of arms wrapped around his waist. Lin Myang, what am I like in your eyes? Lord Liao Sha's voice was clear and crisp, reaching his ears, and Lin Muing instantly felt half his body go soft. His mind was a chaotic mess as he responded, in my heart. Lord Liao Sha is cute, charming, witty, humorous, and also easygoing. Liao Sha smiled slightly. Why? Didn't you praise my capabilities? Hearing this, Lin Myang immediately blushed a little. Liao Sha said casually, sorry, I might have hurt you these past few days, because it's also my first time. Lin Myang shuddered a lover. How is that possible? What about the friends and colleagues who came before? Behind him, Liao Sha tightened his arms. Are you willing to listen to a story? Lin Myang snapped back to reality and slowly nodded. Liao Sha fell into reminiscence, his tone gentle. It all starts from the planet Aphrodite. That is a planet belonging exclusively to tardigrades, but the tardigrades didn't naturally live here from the start. Tardigrade younglings usually gather from various places to Aphrodite when they are about 6 months old. But little Liao Sha was different from others. She came to Aphrodite when she was 8 years old. By then, little Liao Sha already had memories. She cried and shouted, wanting to return to her own home. but everyone refused her request. They said tardigrades should live on Aphrodite and not run around everywhere. But little Liao Sha preferred her own planet. On her planet, there was her mother, and also that little fool of a neighbor who always protected her, because the tardigrades are relatively weak and small. Before coming to Aphrodite, Liao Sha was often bullied. Every time she was bullied, the neighbors, the little fool would always step forward, even if he couldn't win. He would block all the punches for her. But this time when little Liao Sha was screaming, no one came to save her, and no one came to help her. Little Liao Sha prayed to the heavens. If the little fool came to save her this time, she would never call him a little fool again. But a day passed, and still no one came to save her. The second day, little Liao Sha cried again. She continued to pray to the heavens. If the little fool came this time to save her, she was willing to play crazily with the little fool for a whole day. But the little fool still didn't come. The third day, little Liao Sha's voice was hoarse from crying. It must be because she always ordered the little fool around, so he wouldn't come. To find her, she prayed to the heavens again. If the little fool came to save her this time, she was willing to be the little fool's very best friend. But the little fool still didn't come. The fifth day, gradually little Liao Sha stopped crying, because she knew the little fool could no longer find her. She began to look for new playmates, make new friends. More than 10 years passed. Liao Sha had many friends. She was no longer lonely, and no one would bully her anymore, because on the Aphrodite star, she enjoyed the highest privileges. She also had the strongest protectors. They had powerful family backgrounds, excellent gene ranks, and were around her age. These protectors would also be her future partners, and Liao Sha had grown accustomed to this life. The turning point was during her first pheromone outbreak after coming of age. Everything changed. She couldn't develop feelings for any guardian because she had never been able to forget that little fool hidden deep in her heart. In every guardian she chose, she could find traces of that little fool. Looking at the photo in her hand of the little fool growing up, she cried again. This was a photo she had asked a kind guardian to secretly take. Mouth and thoughts can deceive, but pheromones cannot hide. Years of pent-up feelings erupted completely, and thoughts of longing swirled in her mind. Day after day, Liao Sha suffered immensely. Her pheromone outbreak period had never been able to pass. She was constantly in pain and torment. She didn't want anyone except that little fool. Then one day, with the help of a tardigrade friend, she set up a plan and escaped. Arriving at this small hotel on the mountainside, she sat on the sofa, watching the stormy night, anticipating the little fool's arrival. Finally, that night, the little fool braved the wind and rain and pushed open the door. Liao Sha was overjoyed. She rushed up and hugged him, but Liao Sha's heart was weeping. The little fool didn't remember her at all, didn't remember Liao Sha at all. The little fool could casually give his first time to anyone. They were different. When Thestery first began to be told, Lin Muyang's body stiffened. After hearing the whole story, he felt the growing dampness on his shoulder. Liao Sha was crying. Riding up to here, Han Ling withdrew her hand. The word count was already enough. After clicking upload, Han Ling immediately began updating the game script without pause. Another 6 hours passed in this writing. Time to rush. The script content of The Top Bear Worm, Your Excellency, mainly writes about the love-hate entanglements and dramatic misundist among 6 people. Han Ling. He wrote with great enthusiasm, and after finishing, he smacked his lips with lingering satisfaction, wondering if such a plot twist would please the gamers. Don't like it. Afterwards, Han Ling sent the script over to Azure Knight. You've worked hard, keep up the effort, finish this up. Wait until the game is launched, then it'll be fine. Azure Knight replied, received. Boss, I'll continue working on the game now. See His own employees were so diligent. Han Ling nodded with relief. By now, it was hour evening. Han Ling supported. Staggering against the wall, he stood up, wanting to move his body a bit, but as soon as he straightened up, he felt something wet on his mouth. Run reached out and touched. Han Ling was stunned. Damn. He actually had a nosebleed, followed immediately by the system's piercing sound in his ears. Warning sound. Host please beware. Host please be aware. The smell of blood will trigger the pheromone outbreak to arrive early please. Leave the hotel immediately. Please leave the hotel immediately. Otherwise the consequences are incalculable. Han Ling covered her nose with the back of her hand. With weak and trembling limbs, I sat back down on the ground and asked in a hoarse, strained voice, "Can I really get out like this? Is the algorithm wrong? Is sneth probability of me going out and being picked up by someone 100%? He is now feeling feverish all over. But the consciousness was extra clear. Upon hearing this, the system fell into a rare silence for a long time without responding. Han Ling leaned against the wall, breathing rapidly, his mind constantly rehearsing what to do next. If Hekus is to go out, then he now. The pheromones radiating from his entire body simply couldn't conceal the thought of the countless female insects out on the streets. Every hair on his body stood on end. Vertical, scalp tingling. Thacine is simply too beautiful. He must stay in this room. But Simeon is sleeping next to him. Roderick is a big trouble. He thought and thought. His thoughts began to wander a bit. His pupils also dilated a bit, and he erupted. Too sudden. Han Ling was completely unprepared as a person from Blue Star. How could he have seen such advanced things before? He thought pheromone outbreak was just a literal meaning at most like spraying perfume, just a little extra scent on the body. Suddenly, the string in Hanling's mind instantly tightened. He sensed himself being locked by a beast-like gaze. Too late to cry for help. Hanling was slammed to the ground. He tried to turn his head, only to find his neck pinned down. He was held down, barely able to move. His Adam's apple bobbed as he wanted to persuade Roderick to be more rational, but he was horrified to discover the tail hook didn't trolledly reveal itself. The hook touched Roderick's tough skin, leaving a faint mark. This mark is a unique identifier to tardigrades, and it won't disappear for 2 months. I can feel the cool sensation transmitted from the arm. Roderick looked up blankly, staring at the hook, and asking foolishly, "What is this?" At this moment, Lowell, Derek's voice was low and husky, clearly already driven stupid by pheromones. He looked at the hook and felt an exceptionally strong liking for it, then used his face to rub against Than Ling, and at that moment, he instantly lost consciousness. It is unknown how long passed, but Han Ling gradually regaining consciousness, he finally understood how the bugs survived the outbreak period. Right at this moment, the system's voice suddenly appearing, interrupting his recollection. "Host, please note. Host, please note. The outbreak period has passed. The outbreak period has passed." Coming back to his senses and seeing clearly what he had done, Han Ling felt his scalp go numb, but fortunately, Roderick had passed out. After pondering for a long while, he stood up directly. To avoid future trouble, he must leave immediately. He wasn't sure. After Roderick regains consciousness, will he contact the Tardigrade Protection Association? He doesn't want to be captured. He doesn't want to lose his freedom. He still has his own novels to write, and his own gaming company to establish. Only power can counter power. Only capital can confront capital. He did not want to spend the latter half of his life reduced to a slave manipulated by others after the cleansing. He went straight to Roderick's side, wanting to leave a message. In the interstellar age, everything is good, except for the lack of paper and pen. He took out a few bags of nutritional supplements from Roderick's backpack, then poured them on the ground and began to write. "Roderick, wait for me to settle down. I'll contact you via the optical brain. Don't ask me why I have your optical brain number later. You will know there is more. I left the answer for you on the bathroom mirror. Remember to look. He just used the soap. A confession was written on the mirror, and the soap's mark only appears when the steam rises. Only then could he see. Then, without slightest hesitation, turned around and left the small inn he needed to leave garbage planet as soon as possible. Lest being chased and traced, I walked out of the small hotel. A cold wind blew in, carrying the smell of coal, tar, and garbage. Stench system helped me withdraw the credit points from the literature column and find the most suitable in the optical brain, the planet where I live in seclusion, and help me buy a ticket for a flight departing today. Other people's systems are all powerful cheats. Only Han Ling's system is as dumb as artificial intelligence, only capable of doing some nanny work, but at least the system is very obedient. Received. All credit points have been withdrawn, totaling 240,000, and I have booked a flight to a nearby planet for you. Boat, please host 3 hours later at Central City boarding. Han Ling is a bit puzzled. You can help me book to the most suitable planet. Why go to a nearby planet? The system honestly said, the host's credit points are insufficient. Your 200,000 credit points are only enough to go to the neighboring star. Han Ling choked on hearing this. He was still that poor guy. On the way towards the central city, Han Ling belatedly asked, how could my novel be extracted like this? How much? 240,000 credit points was a number he previously wouldn't have dared to imagine. The system gathered information for a while. After saying that, this novel has gone through some things and is now known by more people. Hearing this, Han Ling thought of the fluoro publishers that had threatened him earlier and frowned. Keep an eye on it for me. If the book gets banned, remember to notify me when you arrive at the star terminal. Han Ling stared at the ticket in her hand in shock, only to see it displayed. This interstellar spacecraft travels at a speed of 90 light years per hour, with a total voyage duration of 7 stardates. Please ensure all tourists bring sufficient. Han Ling was a bit shocked to see this sentence. A light year is a unit of length, and the entire solar system has a diameter of 9 billion kilometers. About 1 light year in length means a regular interstellar Zerg spacecraft is a small. Then it can cross a full 9 solar systems. No wonder the interstellar Zerg can occupy thousands of Earth-like planets. Not because there are many Earth-like planets around, but because they have long since run out of the solar system, run out of the Milky Way. Han Ling wiped his face, suppressing the trembling corner of his mouth due to shock. Only now did he truly grasp the concept of the interstellar. Having gained a profound understanding, he also came to recognize the combat capabilities of the interstellar magnetic worms. Thinking of magnetic worms, Roderick's figure comes to mind. Appearing in his mind, Han Ling belatedly realized that he had slept with a superhuman, and moreover, had taken full advantage. The launch pad, towering 100 meters high, like a steel behemoth, had been wiped clean. Han Ling stood beside it as, like ants looking at an elephant. At this moment, a starship lies horizontally on the launch pad, and many bugs are queuing up to board the starship. Interstellar ship. Han Ling hurried over to line up. All in front of him were tall, well-dressed magnetic worms. Some of the worms. The bug hand was still holding the child as they entered the interior of the spacecraft, found their seat, and Han Ling fastened the seatbelt. After a while, I felt the entire spacecraft begin to shake. As the countdown ended, a tremendous G-force pushed against my back and my mind. The pressure inside gradually increased, and a buzzing sound began to echo in my ears. I don't know how long I was tormented before. Slowly, the spacecraft finally. Yu Penguin looked out the window at the gradually receding, dark red planet. Han Ling sighed, finally leaving his pair of junk planet has no feelings. For over a month, he's been moving cargo. It really can't be considered a good memory. The only thing that what he was concerned about was Roderick, whom he had encountered by Chance at the small inn. He wondered how Roderick was doing now, whether he had. I didn't see his message. Hanling twisted the corner of her mouth. Once he settles down in the new planet, I'll add Rod. Rick's light brain number. This encounter was not wonderful at all. He wanted to have a fresh start with Roderick. Here, Han Ling opened the light brain. It was time to give the novel an ending. The starship was traveling without a network, but the system can help with posting, which can be considered one of the few small merits of the comrade. Chapter 5. Liao Sha finished telling the story. Thay lying on Lin Mayang's shoulder sobbing. Lin Mayang was completely flustered. He couldn't bear to see Liao Sha cry, his hand at a loss, holding Liao Sha's face, wanting to help wipe her tears. Don't cry. Don't cry. Your Excellency Liao Sha, it's all my wrong. It's my fault. I failed to remember you. You can hit me or scold me. I, Lin Mayang, am clumsy. He comforted her, saying every apology he could think of. In the end, he simply hardened his heart and, from behind, he unzipped the combat suit. Liao Sha, Your Excellency Lin Mayang, leave her to your disposal. Lowering her head and weeping, Liao Sha, on hearing this, raised her head. Eyes bright like stars. Lin Mayang, this is what you said? No going back on your word. Liao Sha's tailhook fiercely lunged forward. 2,000 words omitted. Here, when Lin Mayang opened his eyes again, he had no idea how many days had passed. Afterwards, before my mind had even cleared, I heard Liao Sha's voice. Lin Mayang, I'm sticking with you. This time, I won't. I want to separate from you again. You take me to the first exploration course too. I want to stay by your side forever. Lin Mayang suddenly looked up and saw Liao Sha smiling with an innocent face, as if she had read her Neto that summer of her childhood. Lin Mayang, you are my first magnet worm, and also my only magnet worm. I lick you, would you take me away? After that, what happened? Lin Mayang couldn't quite remember. He only remembered the wind was very light, the clouds were very white, the sky was very blue, the hand beside is very warm. Han Ling finished writing the last chapter, feeling a bit more comforted in his heart, although he had no way take away Roderick, but it's also good that Lin Mayang can take away Liao Sha. Hope in themed, he can also be like Liao Sha, harvesting a perfect love. She twisted her sore wrist and said to the system, help me post this chapter on the Star Network. Change theatrical status to completed. With the article's publication, what he didn't know was that, originally because of, for the novel's 4th chapter, the imminent online war, because of the landlord's release of the final chapter, directly triggered the Big Bang's short story, both pure and tinged with color, sparked the first great war within the interstellar incident race, and everything. The origin of this matter can be traced back to the Flow Literary Society. 2 days ago, the 5th Guard Corps had just finished their debriefing report meeting. There are no walls that wind cannot pass through. What Lieutenant Bart did at the meeting soon spread through the entire 5th Army Corps and buff. Along with the fire, there's also the landlord's book, publicly feeding magnetic worms, eating melons. When I found this book, my eyes were about to go blind. Someone actually used Lord Tardigrade as a cover. This is simply a blasphemy against Lord Tardigrade. That's what I say. Yes, but the magnet bugs hand swear very honest, as they all clicked open the novel cover screenshot to Soviet, and then they looked at it. Reading the novel synopsis, the innocent magnetic bugs are still unaware of the mental onslaught they are about to suffer from one little yellow car after another. Pollution naively clicked open the first chapter, and from then on, spiraled out of control because the content was too explicit. This trip, the little train to Witch Mountain ran over all the magnetic bugs on the day the 5th Guard Legion Special Forces were stationed on each planet. The cinemas are all packed full. Before these military enthusiasts could even catch their breath, the 4th chapter of the novel was released. carrying the meaning of a bright red warning light. The military magnates grit their teeth and continue to watch as, one after another, new cars roll over their faces. Never did he expect the vehicle to be a death trap. In the novel, Lord Liao Sha hate embraced him from behind. When Lin Miang cried, all the military porcelain couldn't hold back anymore, leaving comments to curse the originally left in the book. The comments were still normal. Everyone was feeling sorry for the male insect, Liao Sha, mocking the female insect, Lin Miang, for being silly, but who knew? A few comments later, emerging out of thin air, all the comments on the entire novel have gone off topic. Lin Miang isn't the first army, right? I have friends there. Let me go ask whose insect droppings this is. By the way, I think the original poster reminded me. Why is Lin Miang in the 1st Corps service instead of our 5th Guard Corps? Damn, is it a conspiracy? Trying to reduce our troops? The regiment's conscription plan. Dirty conspirators come out and die. Brothers, report this book to give the author a lesson. Look at the colors, let him change the protagonist to our 5th Guard Corps, but they forgot. Although the 5th Corps readers account for 90%, but the remaining 10% are various members of society, all of whom have seen the 5th Army. The reported remarks coincidentalized that, a few hours later, the novel was indeed taken down at this moment. The 5th Corps, the military porcelain collective Liebefeld. How? There really are fools. Reporting, overestimating Timothée intelligent while other readers are exceptionally angry. The novel hasn't even been finished yet and someone reported it to have it taken down. There was a military porcelain from 1st Exploration Corps in it. Furious, I wrote a letter and sent it to the general of the 1st Army Corps. Respected General. Hello, I'm from the 1st Exploration Corps. General Mars. Recently, while I was reviewing literature, I saw the 1st Legion's column on the light brain literature titled, For the General. The literary work customized by scholars, pure landlord, bumps into tenant, is very good. It fills my empty spirit. The world of gods. I think in the future, when carrying out missions, this book will always accompany me. The protagonist of this book is Lin Miang. It also very much aligns with the spiritual outlook of our 1st Armies, officers and soldiers. However, just one day before I wrote this letter of report, back then, this work was reported by the 5th Guard Corps and has already been taken down and blocked. I am extremely furious about this. I hope you can take action and formally warn the 5th Guard Corps not to engage in shady activities, or else the 1st Corps will. The strongest warriors will show them a thing or two. On vast number of soldiers of the 1st Exploration Corps, I request the raise. The copy of this whistleblower letter took the expedited channel and was directly delivered to the optical computer soft the 3 generals of the 1st Legion. At that moment, the 3 generals were all dumbfounded. What the hell is this? When did an authoritarian work appear in the world? How could they not know? And what's this about the 1st Army Custom Edition? That's just too ridiculous. Who is it that's using the 1st the Legion's banner for doing things? To restore the truth of the matter, 3 generals initiated a video conference overnight. Among them, a general on the spot ordered his subordinates to decrypt the optical computer information and retrieve the original file of that literary work. Then this book appeared in sight of the 3 big shots, a mere 8,000 or so words, and the 3 old. The Great One remained silent for a full half hour. In the end, it was the last senior general who took the initiative to break the silence. Cough, cough, cough. Let me say something. My view is that this book is beneficial for our 1st Exploration Corps, and it is indeed a rare and excellent book. No mistake, It's been a long time since I've been this excited. The last time I saw your Excellency Bearworm was the last time I could apply to meet your Excellency Bearworm. Dating is indeed a great motivation for many military personnel. This book serves as a kind of spiritual support for the soldiers. Dating application. The three generals exchanged glances, then tacitly sighed as they surveyed the various legions. General, only those 3 bugs are still old bachelors. Their abilities are very strong, and their contribution points are also very sufficient. He never had the qualification to marry Kumamushi because the mission of the first exploration army was to explore outer space. They drift through the stars at all times, with no fixed abode. The marriage matching center rejected them on the grounds the tardigrade bodies are unfit for constant travel. Their countless marriage proposals are now fulfilled by this book, making up for the regret in their lives, and that is love. The 3 generals were indeed shocked by the content of the book. After the 1-hour video conference ended, the 3 generals jointly, a letter was sent to the 5th Guard Corps, the content of which was to notify the 5th Guard Corps to withdraw the report, and restoring the 1st Legion off books is just this domineering. This letter is not a negotiation, but a notification. In 1 hour, due to the application from the 5th Corps, the landlord's book has been re-listed, and the book has welcomed a large number of new readers. That is, the military officers of 1st Exploration Corps. They saw the internal notice and learned that this book was truly banned. Picture, they have come in droves to the book review section to condemn the 5th Legion. At this moment, at the garrison of the 5th Guard Legion, General Red Hair Yuri is receiving the commander's criticism. Ulysses, after yesterday's meeting, you really didn't report this book. Facing the marshal's inquiry on the light screen, Ulysses stood straight, fist clenched. Marshal, I absolutely. The meeting ended yesterday, and I calmly accepted the negotiation result without doing anything to this book. The Marshal of the 5th Legion obviously didn't quite believe it. He sighed. The books were restored, and this matter ends here. Stop. You focus on the upcoming conscription matters. After the optical brain was shut off, Ulysses suppressed the anger in his heart. God. He sat gloomily on the chair. He really hadn't reported this book. After he returned home yesterday, his tardigrade, Yuri, he slammed the table fiercely, his eyes filled with the humiliated fury of a bearworm. Nothing like he esteemed Liao Sha in reality. All bearworms are selfish and heartless trash. Yuli calmed down a bit, turned on the light brain, and then opened the room. East. His account prominently displayed a landlord badge, memento for being among the top 50 subscribers to the novel. Die-hard fans and the first batch of readers who followed the story from the start. Yuli couldn't bear to report this novel upon seeing the badge. At that moment, Yuri breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, his badge wasn't lost, just as everyone thought this matter was about to be exposed. When it passed, early the next morning, Zixi updated again, and the mark of the novelle's completion came out. Woo-woo. Driving. Afterwards, the main character welcomed a happy ending, and readers couldn't help but show their on-tea smiles in the book review section. It's like a massive emotional exchange scene. I thought I would never fall in love with tardigrades in this lifetime. After all, tardigrades are weak and hard to date, but from now on, the concept that my tardigrade can only be the sole one for your Excellency Liao Sha is truly beautiful. And what? Tattoo the name Liao Sha on my body. I will always love Liao Sha. He is the only bear where my love right now. When everyone was exchanging feelings in the comments section, suddenly, the light brain page flickered, and then the communication area vanished. Lost. Books vanished. The eternally unchanging 404 interface popped up again, the porcelain worms that were exchanging feelings. Stunned. Where's the novel? Was the love story they were prepared to remember for Alifi time gone again so quickly? The military fans who experienced last book ban are furious. Could it be the 5th Guard Corps again? They ran to the exchange square. At the beginning, indiscriminate telesuccusingrissen in the streets, yet the 5th Guard Army's military porcelain are El Savary innocent. They are all of this books. Die-hard fans then directly erupted into a massive battle on the square, with hundreds of comments per second continuously flooding the post square. Who the hell reported this book? Curse you to never encounter bear. Worm shit in your life. If you have the guts, come out and face me. What kind of bug reports behind Simone's back? You're the bug. Shit. Are you lacking love, or what? Otherwise, oh, could you do something so vile? Whose legion are you from? I'm from the 5th Guard Legion. And I'm also from the passionate Telecard Square comment section. They have split into several factions. The first faction is those who have projected themselves into the role of Linmayan. These female insects are cursing the most. The most brutal second faction is the female insects who enjoy driving. They relish reading the article, their minds. The fantasy projection. In reality, third faction is the unlucky ones who haven't finished the last chapter. They are in the broad. The field is full of people seeking help, but their help-seeking posts quickly get buried in the crossfire of insults from both sides. We are almost crushed between Thetwo sides shouting at each other. And they are desperately eager to know the grand finale of the story. What's wrong with the square today? Attracting the curiosity of many passersby. A bunch of clowns jumping up and down, unclear what they're doing, watched for a long time and still didn't get it. The scolding was too dirty. The onlookers turned into jokers, mingling in the square, trying to find the truth off the matter and waiting for the way people found out the whole story and also joined the battlefield of discussion. Wake up a bit, it's just a novel. Already? Can you stop going crazy? Shut up, clowns. It's good that we Repertento keep our square peaceful. Now, we also have to start reporting you. A large number of netizens have begun to report these readers who are cursing in street, and many of the readers' accounts. The account was banned. The reader whose account was banned was almost angered to the point of a cerebral hemorrhage. By this prompt, the military fans of the First Legion have the previous demonstration. One after another they began writing letters of report. Letter after letter of report filled the First Corps General's office like snowflakes. The email 3 generals rubbed their temples, ready to discuss with the Star Network management about the Star Network being under the jurisdiction of the 7th Construction. As soon as the video call from the Legion connected, before the 3 generals could say anything, they saw the Starnet administrator. 3 generals with faces wilted as vegetables. Is there anything you need help with? One of the generals coughed. The thing is, many comrades in our First Army have been reporting that you are arbitrarily banning books, and just yesterday, you didn't. Is it just restored?